Can you share one challenge that you're currently facing and how you're going about approaching that?
Only one. There's an awful lot that's changed, but there's an awful lot that hasn't changed. How can you actually start to, from a personal perspective, leverage AI as part of your day-to-day work, right? We generally or traditionally don't have many people in our industry that really understand the aspects around digital transformation and also can then relate it to pharma industry and drive change. One of the biggest challenges that the whole industry is facing at the moment is, I say to anyone right now, if you want to continue a career path in marketing, be it in pharma or elsewhere, if you haven't already, you need to.
Welcome back for another episode of Final Form with me, Amish Patel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for subscribing and following. So today I want to share a conversation that I had with Louise Bauldry, who for a number of years has pioneered the effective use of digital to drive shifts in customer behavior and ultimately drive business impact. I've had the honor of working with Lou in the past, and those of you who have also had that privilege will know how driven she is to deliver results, but doing so whilst building a team culture that you want to really be a part of. I think we actually spoke for about 2 hours before recording this, so I want to thank Lou for being so generous with her time and providing some absolute gems that I'm sure you'll take value from. So let's go. What is your role and what do you see as its primary goal?
My name's Louise Bauldry. My role at GSK is I head up a team called the Digital Fuel Accelerator team. Sounds very superficial, but essentially we are a team of digital marketing experts. We're an above country global team, and we deliver end-to-end digital-only campaigns on behalf of the LOCs, local operating companies. Our goal is fundamentally to drive impact for the business through digital marketing, which we've got some great successes around, great success stories internally. But also we have a broader goal, right, which is to drive the digital transformation across the greater enterprise, pushing boundaries, running MVPs, experiments. So we're permanently testing and learning in a space which is rapidly changing.
So can you share one challenge that you're currently facing and how you're going about approaching that?
Only one. I can share with you one. I think the biggest challenge, or one of the biggest challenges that the whole industry is facing at the moment, is a shift in investment from senior leadership. So, how do you convince senior leaders that the money that they used to spend on an old operating model is better spent elsewhere, right? And invested more into digital channels of communication. So I think we've come a long way in my organisation in that sense. And I think we're seeing a lot of change, but there's still a lot of work to be done because ultimately this is human behaviour, and the belief has to be there that this is the right way for them to spend their precious budgets.
So I guess on that point as well, around shifting kind of beliefs and change, what excites you most about the future of pharma?
I am super excited by the future of pharma because I think it's an industry which has been longing for digital disruption for a long time. And it's one of those industries which is only now, post COVID, and especially now with the advent of Gen AI and other technologies. I think it's an industry which is rife and so much opportunity, untapped opportunity that sits there. And I mean that not just from a commercial perspective, which anyone who's sitting in commercial, yes, very exciting, but actually for me, I'm more excited by the impact as an industry that we can have on patients' lives. I genuinely mean that. And that is in the private sector, but also in the public sector, as we'll see all of this technology and transformation also fundamentally changing the public sector too when it comes to healthcare provision. So it's much needed in a world where there's so many pressures in place to provide the right patient care.
You mentioned earlier on that one of the key parts of your role is leading the change, essentially. So how do you stay up to date on the latest trends and work on your personal development to make sure you are at the forefront of change?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's really challenging because in our industry, we generally or traditionally don't have many people in our industry that really understand the aspects around digital transformation, and also can then relate it to pharma industry and drive change. So we've ended up, I think, and certainly me, I feel like I'm one of those individuals within my organisation. So naturally, we're people that are extremely busy because a lot of this important work is being placed in our hands to drive. So, for me, one of my biggest challenges of 2023 has been, how do I drive all of the important transformational change projects and lead and drive my team, overcoming all of the hurdles and the barriers that I need to internally from a change management perspective to enable them to do that successfully. But at the same time, how do I stay current and abreast of what's going on outside my own company, within industry and outside industry? And that is something which I think will continue to be a challenge, for all senior leaders and individuals now that are in this space. For me personally, the way that I try to do that is keep my network really strong outside my own organisation. So whether it's ad hoc conversations with individuals, attending the right conferences, meetings, events that keep me abreast, and just dedicating time in my diary to do that own just ongoing research to make sure that I stay abreast. But certainly I wouldn't say that I've cracked it. I think it's really difficult.
Yeah, I don't think anybody has, to be honest, as well. Like you said, everybody's super busy, right? And I think, yeah, trying to stay on top of trends with the amount of information that's out there is difficult. So it's finding your own way, blocking out time in your diary, as you said, yeah, speaking to people and just picking out events and stuff. And yeah, just getting it in the diary so that it makes yourself accountable to do something, right?
Yeah, and picking and choosing, like, where, what are the sources of insight which are like value add versus just the same old ones, but actually, it's just kind of repetitive and you're not really getting much value. So I think you have to be really disciplined with yourself around where you spend your time. And then, aside from all of the traditional stuff that anyone would do to keep abreast of, external trends, insights, how can you actually start to, from a personal perspective, leverage AI as part of your day-to-day work, right? So you can be more efficient, more effective, so that you free up your time to then be spending in that kind of space, which is something which I'm also looking forward to maybe starting to do in 2024.
Nice. We'll have to touch base on how that goes. So, based on your experience, you've had a vast career within marketing and the commercial space within pharma. If someone was starting as a pharma marketer today or aspiring to be one, what advice would you give to them, either more broadly or literally on day one, week one? This is what you should focus on and prioritize.
Yeah. So first of all, I think, there's an awful lot that's changed, but there's an awful lot that hasn't changed as well. So I think my first thing would be making sure that, the fundamentals and the basics from a marketing perspective, right, which are never going to change, like really know your customer, your insights, your understanding, all the fundamental principles of marketing, first thing. Second thing, there is no such thing in my mind as a digital marketer versus a non-digital marketer now. I think nearly everyone in marketing would agree with that, right? Regardless of whether you're in pharma or outside pharma. So, you're fundamentally, upskilling yourself to understand digital marketing, data-driven marketing, using all your insights, all of that side of marketing, it should just be part of the fundamentals. So I say to anyone right now, if you want to continue a career path in marketing, be it in pharma or elsewhere, if you haven't already, you need to really quickly, wrap your head around all of that and stay close to it as it evolves. And then thirdly, I think, you've got to be always, whether you're in marketing or any other line of work, right, you've always got to have one eye looking to, like, what are the upcoming trends and capabilities that are going to keep me current and keep me relevant versus my peer group. So, there's obvious trends at the moment around AI, along with a number of other areas. So again, that's my advice to any kind of marketeer at the moment, is make sure that you get really close to those emerging trends and themes as well, because if you don't, you will soon find it hard to compete with your peers around you who are, learning how to leverage that as part of their everyday work.
So there we go. Thank you to Lou for joining me on Final Form. If you've resonated with anything that was said or have any questions about how Lou goes about creating a case for change, implementing a solution, learning from it, and then scaling it, I have tagged her LinkedIn profile in the show notes below. To get alerted when the next episode is out, make sure you subscribe on YouTube or follow on Spotify. So that's it, and I'll see you next time.